Good evening, everyone. This is the Monroe County Women's Commission. I'm going to call this meeting to order. It is 5:30 on November 16th, 2023. My name is Susan and I am the chair. The commission shall serve as an advisory role to assist residents, businesses, and the government of Monroe County in addressing issues of gender equity in all aspects of society. The mission is to advance the status of women and marginalized genders in all areas of county life. I am going to make a motion to approve the agenda, and we are going to have
A motion to amend the agenda?
what is your amend?
I am moving to amend the agenda, moving guest speaker Jane Cooper Smith to before old and ongoing business.
Do I have a second? Second. Do I have a motion to approve?
We just did that.
We did. Oh, we approved it?
Yeah, all in favor?
All in favor, say aye. There's no one
Aye.
online. Sorry. Motion to amend and approve? Sure, I'll go with that. To
So
move
moved.
Jane up to before old and ongoing business. We all have a copy of the minutes. Has everyone had a chance to read the minutes? And do we approve the minutes? Do I have a motion to approve?
Hello? Sorry, I totally lied. There you go. Now you're on. Okay. I have a typo in the minutes that in the mission, I put the old mission instead of the new mission. So I would like to amend that before submitting it as our final copy.
Second.
Thank you.
Are there any other amendments? I don't think so. No. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda with the minutes? Amended minutes?
Motion to approve?
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Perfect. Commissioner updates. So I have sent out the orientation. I am certainly, obviously there's no timeline on it, but hopefully everyone can look at it and make adjustments as necessary. That would be wonderful. I didn't take it long. I mean, it didn't spend tons and tons of time on it, so I'm not super married to it, but I do think it is rather informative. I think I would make some recommendations to it for myself, like highlighting parts of the open door policy, because I just copied and pasted it in there that are give summaries, even though it's hard to give a summary because I think it's probably all pertinent, but I still would maybe like to look at that stuff closer. Does anybody have any comments about it yet? No?
Oh, I know. I wondered, first of all, thank you for putting it together because I think it looks great and would have been helpful to have in place when I came on the commission, so I appreciate that. Secondly, I wondered if you want to add the link to our Dropbox in there, since it is kind of like all the basics in the first few slides. You have like the time, the date, the place, if you want to put a link in that as well.
I think I would have to put in to make sure, because we can't they would have to give permission to access it. So it would be make sure you get, I think my comment in there would be make sure you get access to the Dropbox.
Yep.
Because
Yeah, I would just note that that's where all the information is stored so that they know that that's.
And added to the email.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
So I would add that.
Speaking of email, how does someone email us as a commission?
They could email Wilco.
They could. And then who does that go to?
Goes to all of us.
I don't think that's the case. We'll have to check on that because Patty, for the CAPS thing,
Oh, she emailed that?
She emailed it to Moko Woko. She commented on how fun the name was. I said, well, thanks, Susan, we love it. And, but then none of us got it.
Oh,
I've been
interesting.
wondering that too, because when we send things out among us, and then we include the Moko Woko, like, we should be getting it twice then, and we're not.
I never include the
Right, but initially when they set it up, I know I did, and I kept thinking, like, shouldn't I have
and that's
gotten
what
this
I want to
twice?
happen.
Yeah,
I want to be able to email just Moko Woko
And
and
be
all
done.
of us get it,
Mhm.
or anybody else email that and we all get it.
I mean, you got the agenda, right?
yeah,
I
but
sent-
you sent it to Moko Woko?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
What? Mm-hmm.
okay. Huh.
But I don't know if it's only because, like, if we get it, if outsiders can email that address, it would be the question, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, like maybe it's just in your Gmail, that you have a contact list?
No,
Oh.
no, like it is like,
a
they made it
listserv.
up,
Okay.
TDS or whatever.
The
and
county.
TSD, yeah.
Okay.
I will find out.
Thank you.
I'm also wondering if we're having a work session in December, if we can go over that onboarding slideshow then, or do
Oh.
we have other?
That might be a good
I
idea.
feel like if there's space for us to look at it.
That might be a good place to start.
Okay.
I think that's a
Okay,
great
that's on the
idea.
agenda is the
Okay.
work session anyway, so,
Okay.
perfect. We did go see Misty. Oh, has that not been, or was that after this meeting? I put that on there like we hadn't done that, but that was after this.
I think we
last-
gave an update in our subcommittee.
But not here, yeah.
Right.
So we just stopped by and gave Misty chocolate and a card to say thank you. She was kind of in the middle of dinner, so we didn't stay at all, but she welcomes us back anytime, and she was very, very pleased to get a thank you, because,
Yeah, so that's Misty from New Leaf, New Life. She sat on the JFAC group as lived experience, and then she came and spoke, and to be honest, we're kind of courting her to join the commission, so, yeah.
yep.
I think we also mentioned to her if there are opportunities, let's say they're having a clothing drive and they want us to partner with them, kind of just put it on our radar to feel free to reach out. We'd be interested in promoting efforts or contributing in some way.
Good.
The Indiana Commission for Women, they have their maternal health seminar coming up. The link gets posted on the 1st. The ICW did have I finally got to sit in on one, sat in on their quarterly meeting where members of the commission come. I watched virtually, and it was interesting, to say the least, in the sense of they talked about how they don't have funding and are they a governing body and X, Y, Z, and it was just really interesting for a commission that's been around as long as they have, that they don't seem to know really what they're doing or what their mission is, their purpose. I know.
The Indiana State Commission on Women?
Yep. But that was interesting. So, and Counselor Munson, I met with County Counselor Munson. Oh my gosh, all of a sudden I forgot her first name. Cheryl Munson the other day. She asked to meet with me just to meet with me. We live in the same township, and was just asking some questions, and she was originally going to try to recruit me to the Board of Health, but I am not of the right party affiliation. It has to be bipartisan. Who knew?
For which board?
The Board of Health. And I don't have the right initial. But she was really interested to hear about the Women's Commission and some of my experience with the health and whatever, but because she's very interested in maternal health and our infant mortality rates.
So is she looking for a Republican to be on the Board of Health?
She is,
Okay, that's good to know.
yes. We are putting it in the staff newsletter for the IU School of Medicine too. Someone with medical experience, just your recruit, I don't know. And I put as my contact in Counselor Munson's contact, but yes, if anybody knows anybody that would be a good fit, and please let them know. And I think that's all I have. Maria?
Okay, so I'm just going to report on some of the events. That's what I'm going to start doing. Some of the events that the Monroe County Women's Commission was represented at. And so on October 22nd, which was the week right after our October meeting, Molly and I actually, I didn't know she was going, but she was there, attended the critical race theory event and community discussion at the library. It was so good. There were a professor, I can't remember who the gentleman was, and then 1/3 of, so it wasn't Gladys and it wasn't Danielle of Remarkable, or of that the group that, why can't I think of it right now? Something production company, anyway, never mind. So then it was, the community discussion was great, so people that were on the panel, but who had, a ton of experience, and who were from this community spoke at length, and it was just a really, really enlightening time. And I think I'm a realist, but also I notice things that are wrong very quickly. And I just wish that there had been more people there, right? It was like the people that were there because, they're committed to, and passionate about, and there were just smattering of people who were there to learn and, things like that. But it would have been great if, a lot of people were there, but that is okay. We were happy for the people that were there. I also went to a CDFI event, which I'm not going to talk about because Jane will tell us a little bit about, or a lot about, hopefully, CDFI and mention the event probably. And I went to this Remarkable Woman thing, and now that's part of the thing I can't think of. Resilience Productions, that's who it is, with Gladys Devane, Danielle, Bruce, and I cannot think of the third woman's name, but they put on productions like that they write, and it's Black women from history, and it's a talk show type setting. So there's the host, and then there are these two Black females from history, kind of come into the present time and tell us about themselves and talk about, history from their perspective, right? And so it was so good. And to the conversation that was happening before the meeting, unfortunately, we are still dealing with a lot of the same issues that they were, and that was just another thing that stuck out, and we talked about that. Also, this was a busy month. Also attended
Before you move on, Maria, is there a link or a website or something for that group?
Resilience Productions. Yeah,
okay?
yeah, there should be.
Thank you.
And if not, I can get it to you later.
It's okay. I can Google that. Thank you.
I also attended the Monroe County Children's Conditions Summit, the MC3, that's with the Youth Bureau, the city, the health department, and building thriving relationships, thriving communities. And that was the first time I had attended that, and that was very well. It was from policy all the way to real world experience, different breakout sessions, and resources and things like that. So that was really good. Attended the National Organization of Women's State Conference that was held here at the Monroe County History Center this past Saturday. And so we heard from State Senator Shelley Yoder and State Representative Carolyn B. Jackson. And two things that we need to be aware of. Shelley is, of course, going to move to, or write a bill, or move, whatever the government jargon is, to amend SB 1, of course. And then the second one that she wants us really to look at or be aware of is SB 259, which in the past, she's already presented it. It was for the lifting or doing away of the taxes on menstrual supplies. However, she's rewriting it, and it is to remove the taxes on menstrual blood collection devices. And so she made us say it a couple times, menstrual blood collection devices, because that's what they are. It's not a Band-Aid. It's not like, you know, something that we could maybe not do, maybe not have. So I think she's going to reintroduce then the SB 259. I don't think you write another one.
Okay.
Also attended the Girls Inc. Ruby Gala. They did a great job at Ivy Tech, leveled up from last year, which was their first year back after COVID. They made over $10,000 in their dessert auction. So super stoked, you know, for them, and it was a very nice time. Attended just yesterday, I believe, the Health and Business Chamber event, which people from the state level came to talk. And it's interesting that the Board of Health has come up a couple times recently, but we were told that in 2024 that Monroe County is getting over $1 million. That the Board of Health needs to identify the needs and then disperse the money. Lori Kelly happened to be at my table. So right after the event, I said, Lori, how do we apply for some of that money? And she said she'd get me the information. She did. So if anybody's interested, I can get that to you. She also said that the budget has already gone to the board. So all of, the full 1 million, whatever, is not available because they already earmarked it for, for things. But I think it's important for organizations to get on the list, get on the radar now, because in 2025, we're slated to get over 3 million. So there's different criteria, of course, and initiatives and things that you need to speak to or be involved in. But if anyone is interested in that, I can forward that information to you. What else from that? IU Foundation, Bloomington Health Foundation is having a summit on December 8th. I do not think it's open to the public because I know a few people who have been invited. Middle Way House has not, which, not mad about it, but I am going to try to see if I can go just because I'm interested, because I'm honestly, and I said this to Eric Spoonmore of the chamber today, I said, I'm tired of having all these conversations. I'm conversated out. We've had a lot of conversations. We know what the challenges are. So let's start making some plans and doing something. So the Bloomington Health Foundation does want to come away from that summit with some action items that they're prepared to fund. So,
is there a way to find out how to get invited, or?
I'm sure, just ask around.
Yeah, okay. I think I know the director.
Yeah. Just
Okay.
ask. I would just ask.
But do they have a theme for the summit, or is it like?
Mental health and substance
I'm
abuse.
sorry, okay, I missed
Yeah.
that.
No, I didn't say that. I didn't say
okay.
that.
Okay.
Yeah. mental
Would
health
love
and
to get an invitation for
I'm
the
telling you. Yeah.
Monroe County Women's Commission to that event.
Yeah.
If anybody does have connections to utilize, I think that would be a great place for us to show up.
And then I would like to wish everyone a happy National Native American Heritage Month, National Hospice and Palliative Care Month, World Vegan Month, Military Family Month, Premature Awareness Month, National Diabetes Month, National Adoption Month, and Trans Awareness Week is from the 13th through the 19th, so we are in the midst of Trans Awareness Week. And I just also want to remind everyone that Giving Tuesday is the 28th of this month. The end.
I'm gonna make one little thing that I forgot to mention today when I emailed the agenda to Dina at the County Commissioner's Office. She said, Kate, she said the three of us. I didn't think your appointment. Were you only your partial appointment? Maybe. Anyway, she said the three of us were up, and if we knew that we wanted to be reappointed, and I said yes. So that should, and the county commissioners can still decide that they don't want us, but if they do, they will automatically reappoint us.
So is there something we're supposed to do, or we just wait to hear?
Yes. If I hear anything from Dina, I'll let you all know. Okay, that's it.
Thank you.
Did you have something? Are you ready to introduce?
Yeah.
Okay.
So today, our speaker is someone that I'm blessed to call my friend, Jane Cooper-Smith. She has served this community for many, many years in the capacity of working with the city, and now is the executive director and president of CDFI, who we need to learn a whole bunch about, and it's a very needed, and I feel like it's a very untapped resource. So Jane, just lay it on us.
Thanks for that introduction, and thanks for all that you're doing in the community as commissioners to help work on gender equity issues, which of course we need desperately in our modern times. So I'm executive director of CDFI Friendly Bloomington, which is a mouthful, and it's not really even an accurate name because we serve the entire Indiana uplands. So we serve Monroe County and actually 12 other counties. Our main mission is that we work to bring CDFI investment, and I'll tell you what that is in a minute, to the uplands so that business owners and affordable housing developments and any other projects in need of financing can get access to it. We try to step in for projects where banks are not able to say yes. And that could be because someone has been kind of boxed out of the credit system for one reason or another. Maybe they don't have generational wealth. A lot of times CDFIs, this is a new one, they step in when a person has been through divorce and their assets, they don't have any assets. So if they're trying to get a business loan, they can't collateralize it. But CDFI stands for Community Development Financial Institution. There are 1,487 of them nationally, and they're mostly nonprofit lenders that are backed by the Department of the Treasury. So they're certified by the federal government. And they grow out of the 1977 Community Reinvestment Act. So this act was really important because it was the first effort by the federal government to kind of push back against redlining, if you're familiar with that term. So the CRA required that banks invest in the communities in which they also take deposits. What was happening up to that point is that they were basically any equity that was being paid out to a bank was getting invested in other places. And so those communities, while people were trying to get by, they weren't able to capture any of those assets for their communities. So out of this Reinvestment Act, banks were then required to make investments in the forms of mortgages or small business loans or whatever, but they could also, I'll stop there with that. So then fast forward to 1994, during the early Clinton administration, they did an update to that act called the Regal Act, and that's where CDFIs became formalized. So between 1977 and 1994, these kind of proto-CDFIs, community banks, other types of lenders were created, and then they kind of were channeled into their current structure in 1994. So the current structure is that they get low interest lines of credit from the Department of the Treasury. They also can get CRA credits from banks. So banks have to do this charitable work in communities. They have to make these investments in communities. But because it's expensive to lend to projects that don't fit a really typical format, they're also allowed to just make donations and investments in these CDFIs. And the CDFIs are cool because for a bunch of different reasons, but they have multiple requirements. So to get this certification from the Treasury, they have to determine a priority area of investment. So they could be working with just affordable housing development, just childcare centers. They're just trying to support entrepreneurs of color or nonprofits. Each CDFI of the 1487 has their own niche market that they work to serve, and 60% of their investments have to serve that target market. That's one piece. The second piece is that they're required to provide technical assistance. So if they get a borrower that, say the project, I'm trying to use real examples to make it more accessible, but say a business borrower has put a plan together, but maybe they're asking for way too much money, or their financials just don't look good, or maybe their credit is shaky, or whatever. It could be any kind of problem. That CDFI, if they can't say yes to them, they're required to help get them to yes, by providing technical assistance, financial literacy education. They can do small, some CDFIs, not all, do credit building loans. So if a borrower has shaky credit, then they can spend some time working with that CDFI to get to a better place. The really cool thing that I'm seeing in the last couple of years, I started this job in February, but I've been on the board since it was founded in 2018. The thing that's come out in the last couple of years is that because we're understanding challenges like generational wealth, we're understanding the wealth gap better than I think we have in whatever previous times. We understand that generational wealth begets assets, begets good credit or whatever. So if you don't have assets, it's hard to get a loan from a traditional bank because you can't say I'll put my house up against it, give me the money. So these CDFIs are they're building other projects or products to meet the needs. So they're doing a lot of uncollateralized loans where they'll evaluate a business based on the cash flow projections, and they'll do a certain amount of training along with that. And statistically, their repayment rates are 1 percentage point better than what average bank repayment rates are. So they're finding that it doesn't matter if you're collateralizing the loan, if you're doing this extra support work along with it, and the basic math looks good, you don't have to have someone try to sign away their house or car with it. So the uncollateralized cash flow loans is one area. Another interesting area is that some CDFIs will do ITIN lending, which is really great for new residents of the country or immigrants who might not have whatever, they don't have a social security number, they don't have, but they have an ITIN. So that's a really great thing. And when we think about Indiana and what our needs are, we know that our birth rate's declining. We know that we need to attract more residents to the state of Indiana. And we know, I don't think that we're doing it, but we know that if we can make ourselves an attractive place for new immigrants, then that helps us grow as a community. It helps us diversify. It helps us do all these kinds of things that make us stronger overall. And this ITIN lending is just a little tiny piece where instead of somebody going and having a problem when they're trying to start their new business, instead there's oh yeah, we can help you with that. So this feels like a lot of words. So I've kind of described what CDFIs are. Mm-hmm. We're not a CDFI. We're a nonprofit that works to bring CDFIs to our region. CDFIs tend to operate within larger communities, and they're not present in communities of 250,000 or less. So I network nationally with all of these lenders, and then locally, I work with affordable housing developers, small businesses, anybody who will talk to me to try to find out where their needs are. And then I also work really closely with our local banking community, because if borrowers can get bank financing, it's always the best option. It's always the cheapest money, and it's the fastest to get. So we're really just stepping in when that bank financing is not available. Yeah, I think I'll just set it down there for now. Do you have questions, or is there anything that you remember from that event that you want me to focus on?
Yeah, would you tell us about like maybe the cooperative living,
Oh,
like
right.
some projects that have been done?
Yeah, so we have a capital enhancement fund, so we can also incentivize that investment by putting some of our own money on the table and blending down interest rates. And that's really great, because then we get to partner with these CDFIs who may be out of town. So we've worked a couple of times with Bloomington Cooperative Living, and we found a CDFI, I mean, there are many of them, but we found a great CDFI partner in an organization called Local Enterprise Assistance Fund, and they work exclusively with cooperatives or shared equity projects. And their stepping in allowed Bloomington Cooperative Living to buy a 17-bedroom property off of Butler Park, which they were able to renovate. And the story is bigger. It's like, when it's contextualized with BCL's evolution, they started as a pretty typical housing co-op that's geared toward undergrad students or grad students, and it's single rooms, high volume, and then the model, of course, is everybody pitches in and shares in grocery and utility fees to have drastically lower rents, and it works really great. But one of the limits is that, cooperative housing is great, but this model is really geared toward young people, and BCL wanted to know, is there a way we can stretch a little and build something that would support families or older residents? And so part of what was exciting about this project off of Butler Park is that they could have 2-bedroom suites, so that there could be a resident and caregiver relationship, whether it's a parent and child, or an adult child and an older parent. And so they were able to do that. One of the challenges with that, they couldn't get bank financing, I think, because just the nature of a cooperative really didn't mesh with our capitalist banking system. It was just too confusing to imagine. Like, one of the cooperative principles is that it's a democratic process, and you're moving slow and deliberately, and you work toward consensus. And that pace, it just didn't work for the banking industry. And then, the primary barrier, and they hadn't done a housing development like this before. This was a total renovation. It was one of their larger investments that they made. So it was new. And then the kicker was that they couldn't sign a personal guarantee, because they, the owners effectively were a cooperative board, and no individual was going to sign a guarantee. And so that ended up almost being a deal breaker, because LEAF, even though they're used to working with cooperatives, since they hadn't executed on a project like this before, they still wanted a guarantee. And a cooperative out of Ann Arbor, Michigan, actually stepped in and said, we can do this for you. Our mission is that we're supposed to support affordable housing development across the region. We can't develop in Ann Arbor because costs are too high. We have too much equity. Let us put some of our, let us guarantee this loan for you. And so it was just this entirely supportive and cooperative triangulated relationship that allowed this project to go forward. So what Bloomington got out of it, again, was, I think it's 17 units, some 1-bedroom, some 2-bedroom, and they're highly affordable. I can't remember off the cuff what the rents are, but it's like south of $600, including utilities and a certain number of meals per week.
Wow.
So it's really, they call it radical affordability is what they're working toward. So you can see how that project, it was just too complicated and just took, it just wouldn't work for a traditional, for traditional bank financing. And again, no no criticism of the banks there. They have to protect their investors and they have to execute on their mission. But I'm so happy that we were able to get that done. And then it's allowed BCL to grow as an affordable housing developer. They finished another project on 410 West Kirkwood Avenue, and then they're working on another one right now. So it's really exciting for me, having worked a little bit in affordable housing when I was at the city, to see how we just can develop homegrown developers. Bloomington has a little bit of a challenge attracting developers from outside of the community because we don't have too many local housing developers, or we don't have any local housing developers. And then, you know, if you're operating out of Indianapolis or wherever, there's enough business where you are. So we have to really work to get people active here. So to be able to have a tool that we can leverage for local organizations to do some of that work themselves is, I think it's great. Wow. So, oh, and then I'll just to punctuate it, the ways to get involved, if you were curious, are really just to talk to me, follow us on social media. If you hear of anyone who's starting a business or running into a wall of some kind, just send them to CDFI Friendly. We're really networked with our local entrepreneurship and housing resources. And so it feels, really worth our time to just help people get plugged into the system and then help them find funding if we can. Mm-hmm. Oh, it says for the average cost of living, $624 a month. Yeah. $407 for renters, $127 for consumables and utilities. Yeah. So the $624 includes all of those costs. Yeah, I mean
That's amazing.
Yeah,
That's
is.
unheard of in our community. Yeah. Wow.
The other thing that's neat about those houses too, are that they're outside of, say, the housing choice voucher system. I mean, you're really just applying and can live there. There's not a lot of red tape to get in. There's red tape once you get in. You have to participate and do chores and.
Now, will they, sorry, through the application process, are there, would they take formerly incarcerated individuals? Okay.
Yeah, they do.
Okay.
I don't know if they have restrictions on the type of charges that people have dealt with.
Right.
But I do know that they have and feel good about incorporating these individuals into the communities.
Mm-hmm. Do they have social workers or anyone to support that, or they just trust that that person is going to be working with somebody in the community already?
Yeah, to my knowledge, they don't have support staff. It's really just your residents, and it's a community. It's support in that way, but there's accountability. And I know I've always heard that in any kind of recovery relationship, that not that people coming out of our carceral system are necessarily in recovery, but that the reciprocity is super important, and that's what these communities really provide. It's not just you're showing up and giving some anonymous person a check, but you're showing up and it's your responsibility to make dinner 2 nights a week, or to do lawn care, or your fellow tenants need you to execute on all those responsibilities. So, yeah, but that's a good snapshot of the housing. And then I would say probably the bulk of my time is actually spent with entrepreneurs, and that's where I find that financial literacy piece being really important, and just that a lot of people have trouble, even no matter how many resources we feel as a community we're putting on the table. A lot of people have trouble navigating them. And even just the jargon that goes along with preparing a business plan, or you're meeting with some free planning service and they give you homework to go do. They're not going to do your homework for you, but they're going to give you, a 5-item list of pretty specific things you have to prepare. Well, if you're not educated in that area, it's going to be really hard to figure out how to do that in the right way. And then it ends up being stressful and can be a deterrent instead of being a support. And so I really try to just personally leverage any like social, I'm sorry, I'm a morning person. I don't have all my language right now, but all my like any social leverage or social capital that I have and can share, I try to put that on the table for people, and I try to take time to unpack kind of what each step requires. And I just really try to help people get across the starting line.
Right.
And I don't know that that's the best use of our time. I think I'm supposed to be forwarding people to other technical assistance providers more, but that's the part that really means a lot to me, so.
Jane has parenting duties. Does anyone have any questions for her?
Just thank you. I didn't know anything about any
Yeah,
of
we're
this,
the
so I'm thrilled to
Best-kept
learn
secret
about
in
it. Yeah.
Bloomington. So,
As a social worker in the community, I'm floored. So I took a
Yeah.
lot of notes. So
yeah, great. Well,
thank
thanks
you.
so much
Yeah,
for
thank
having
you.
me, and thanks again for all that you're doing.
Yeah,
I really
absolutely.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, so spread the word.
yeah.
And for me, her organization, CDFI, is just something that allows people to dream, and then Jane will help them get to that starting line, you know. of
I mean,
their
if somebody asked, is it close to like micro lending?
Yeah, it depends. I mean, I have loan applications in for $1 million and for $40,000 right now. So microloans are considered $50,000 and below. But the CDFIs do everything.
Hi, ladies. So we're having some technical issues with the camera system right now. So like your audio is leaking stuff, but you haven't been on camera.
I noticed that,
Yeah. So we're really scratching our heads right now trying to figure it out. And I don't know if there's like a rule like voting or if you guys need to be on camera to make
Oh, we
this
should
public.
probably,
But
yeah,
it's like
I'll be
this might not be an issue that's resolved by the time this meeting ends. So I just want to like make it like where you guys are trying to figure it out, but it's a little bit difficult.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jane.
Thanks, Jane.
Thank you.
Have a
good
good rest of
night.
your evening.
Yeah, I wondered, does that mean nobody's on Zoom?
what?
Is there anybody attending on Zoom, I'm wondering? Because weren't some of our other commissioners
yeah, was
attending
Molly
on?
and-
I'm on Zoom.
Oh,
Tiana's
okay.
here.
Is that Tiana?
Yeah, this is Tiana.
All
So you
right,
can hear us,
awesome.
but not see us.
Okay.
Oh,
which
yeah,
is-
I can hear everything. I just can't see you.
Okay, that's
Okay,
fine.
great. I want to make sure I have you noted
I was-
as.
Oh, yeah, I was listening to everything. And I said thank you very much in the chat, too.
Yeah, we can't, we can't see that. That's.
Yeah, I
that's
can't
strange.
see you. You can't see me either, but I'll turn my camera back off.
Great. Okay.
Very interesting, huh?
Yeah, I mean, my wheels are kind of spinning, like maybe it's something just to like keep on the back burner.
Yeah.
But I mean, are there specific ways that you kind of see us playing in a role of just raising awareness?
Yes.
About, okay.
That's basically, I feel like that's what she said, you know, follow social media. If somebody's like, I wish I could, you know, and it's, especially if it's something that's going to better the community or be a assistance to some challenge that we're having, you know, for example, the cooperative living situation, you know, which is affordable housing. So, you know, if we would hear of anybody that had business ideas, but they just don't know where to go or how to start, or they don't have, like she was saying, they have bad credit, or they have like a ding on them from somewhere back in the whatever. Yeah.
It's amazing.
Okay.
Thanks. We'll go through old business pretty quickly, I think. The commission meeting report, I don't know if I sat in finally on Wednesday, but I don't know if nothing that popped out at me that needed to be looked at. I don't know if anybody else has anything they want to report about it, any of the meetings. No? County council, I know they passed their budget. Hi. No worries.
You guys would be willing to take just like maybe a 5-minute break real fast as we try to reset the computer.
Sure.
Oh,
Fix the issue.
sure.
Yeah.
I don't want to interrupt what you guys.
Oh, no, that's
you're
fine.
All right, we're going to take a 5-minute break, sounds like.
Yep.
Yep. Tiana, do you hear that? So we're
Are
back.
we back on record?
We're back on record. What?
Because I was gonna ask maybe to help us know the cycle that Lori, if she said, or Kelly, of when they're gonna do. Like how to get into that cycle of now they've already submitted their budget, but what about next time, September and October?
So commissioner meeting, we covered that. County council meeting.
So I have been logging on to the council meetings and I can't retain anything these days for some reason. So yesterday's meeting was interesting in that the sheriff's sheriff's department popped up again. And we're talking about this transition team and the contract and for the transition team director. And there had been some sort of, meeting where the commissioners indicated that they may not support it and that it's a part-time job and they're not sure that they need it and all this stuff. And so the sheriff's department was just there to reiterate or try to get some clarity or confirmation from the council that this was still going forward. And council assured them that it was, but it sounded like it was kind of, for lack of a better term, at 621, it was kind of a cluster where, what funds were going to pay for it, because I think the ARPA funds, the commissioners and the council have to be in agreement on how they spend those funds, or the council can just put a line item in. And so the council indicated that they would get it done no matter what. But it was just a little bit, well, some of the council members also said they were very frustrated. So it just was kind of a frustrating thing that, the wheels of government, like, stop and start, other meetings happen, people's interpretations of what's being said are different, and it just causes things to move very slowly sometimes. So, but bottom line, council, from what I gathered, council said that they would get the transition team director contract signed and advertised as a position. So that took a hot minute.
We've learned a lot of things being as part of, I was having that conversation with somebody today. I was like, we've learned a lot of things about how government works and works.
That's air quote works on
That's
that
air
second
quote
one for those
works, let
people
me
who
be
can't
clear.
see.
Yeah, sorry. That was just for the table. Yeah. Wow.
I lost my place, sorry.
Staff.
BCSW, no one was on record to go. I don't think anybody went. They did send me the agenda, I think, but I was unavailable. Girls Web Design Camp, any updates? I know on the 1 minutes that are posted, I do have, this is crazy, that you guys were supposed to set up a subcommittee meeting somewhere. You guys not, is that not happened?
No, it hasn't happened. We need to set up a subcommittee meeting. And I just got the feedback from the dean. So I'll send that to our team. I'll send that later tonight when I get back home. because you saw, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, because you saw Molly had made a comment from our last meeting of the process. She updated the process from what we talked about at the last meeting. So our dean made some comments on the draft that she sent, but she's gonna send an official draft. She wanted just our feedback, but I still just sent it so they can look at it, so it'd be a quicker turnaround.
Okay.
Okay.
Why are
Where's the
we,
feedback?
I don't know. So we need to get that work session, the subcommittee together because, and do you, Tiana, have a sense of the timeline of the turnaround since the dean now made comments, it's not ready for signature yet, I'm assuming, so Molly will have to look at it.
It won't be ready for signature until Molly get done talking to the IU lawyers. Like, she has to send it through. Look at her, we have to review her notes. She spelled it out for us, because
Yeah, no, I have it right here, so. So it says, if the Women's Commission is okay with the draft as written, there are no suggested changes, but there are, but because the dean of Luddy has some changes, then we would have to send the draft to Luddy and to make sure they do not have any suggested edits, which they do. So then it has to go back and forth. And once finalized, draft approved by the Women's Commission and IU, then the MOU will be presented to the Board of Commissioners at one of their meetings.
Exactly. So we're at the point now, we can look at it, and then it goes to the Board of Commissioners. So what she was saying, what she sent us, it really wasn't for Luddy to look at, it just was for us. So I misunderstood that. So I had him look at it because I thought that's what we were supposed to do from our meeting. So, I mean, the comments, I have to look at them again. I don't think it's anything drastic, but we can look at it as a commissioner, and then we send it to her and she'll send it those next steps. So it won't be that much longer.
Wasn't there a discussion about that meeting being held in November?
Yep, it would have been the meeting that was held in November, it would have been to the Board of Trustees. That's when it would have went to IU.
Okay.
But from my experience working with faculty, faculty tend to take a little bit longer than, they don't run on our speed. So I had to send reminders so that we can get feedback.
So then does it have to wait until the next Board of Trustee meeting?
I don't know.
We just need that MOU signed and then we'll get on the commissioners.
We just need it signed. Yeah, and we'll get on the commissioners first.
Okay,
Okay.
got it.
Nikki, I don't know. I mean, I don't know, because it didn't, that feedback said nothing about the Board of Trustees. I think she's gonna work with the IU lawyers, but that's up to how Molly does it. I don't know. She knows the process more than I do.
Yeah, I was just remembering that from before.
Yeah, that's what she had said, that we
Yeah.
would take it to the November Board of Trustees meeting, but she was working
was in
that.
November.
I noticed she had another one that she said she had to take there for the city of Bloomington, and I didn't see that on the last Board of Trustees agenda either, so I don't know. Maybe they do something different with the city, I don't know.
Okay. All right,
So we can get our working session, the three or four of us, the three of us, we need to get our working session scheduled so we can talk about a committee meeting. You can just let me know whenever. We can talk about it, see when we're free to meet.
Okay.
Thanks,
I'm free,
Deanna.
I'll be free. I'll be free. I won't be teaching at all on a Thursday anymore, so I'll be freer soon too.
Oh, okay, so maybe this coming week, early this coming
Yeah.
week? Okay, cool.
Oh, early this coming week, yeah, we can do Monday or Tuesday. After that, I'm out. But Monday or Tuesday, but I'm on vacation the rest of the week.
Okay.
I mean, I'm on vacation starting now, but I'm in town Monday and Tuesday, I should say.
Okay. That's what she
Thank
was
you.
saying, she's not teaching because they're on break right now, so that's why I'm like, let's. Okay.
Thanks, Deanna.
Thanks, Tiana. Gender Equity Justice Response Subcommittee, we did meet last Thursday. We did not finalize a press release. I think we're gonna work more on that maybe at the work session, maybe? Or we were gonna,
Yeah, I think we're gonna aim for releasing at the beginning of January because it's not really like it's a news hot off the press. It's more to highlight the work we've been doing, so there's no need to rush it. I think our next subcommittee is gonna be another working meeting because we were all on the document and proceeded. We got some, progress going at our last meeting, so we decided the next meeting, it would be a good idea to do that again. And so that's in December, and then aim to have something by January. And then we also had a discussion about whether it would need approval from this group because we've, since it's just a press release, that we could go ahead and finalize it. Is that how we landed?
well, we voted.
We voted
the
on it.
last
That was
meeting that we
last
could
time
just
here.
release the
Okay.
press release.
Yeah,
Okay.
so once as a subcommittee you approve it, then we can, it can just be
Finalize
released.
it,
That's
okay.
what we voted, yeah.
Do you have anything else you remember that we talked about? Not really.
What's the date of your next subcommittee meeting? Yours, like I'm not gonna be there too, but.
When is the next one? Is it it's the second Thursday, I think, of the month, so
Okay.
it'd be the 14th.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. All right.
New business. December work session. So that is December 21st. We decided we will not be having a meeting and that we will be having a work session here in this room. We will be discussing elections and our officers and goal and probably review of the year and goals for the next year. And that right? Summary?
Yeah, why don't we make up, we definitely need an
agenda.
agenda. And so I also think that we should open the agenda up to all the commissioners to say, hey, I would like this on the agenda, or I want that to discuss that on the agenda. So I don't know how we do that.
I will create an agenda and share it with everybody, a shared document, so we can work on it together.
Cool.
I gotta remember to do the thing. Okay. Creation of women and gender.
Can I just explain one item that's on here? So picture at
Oh, yeah,
December
that's right.
work
Sorry.
session. We'll put it on the agenda, but my husband has offered to he takes professional photos, so he would be able to do that for us if we wanted but we have to prepare in that we would need to, look our best.
No more
That would
coming
take
in our
some more,
comfies
like-
for a work session.
Yes, so it kind of is up to us whether we want that to happen. And actually, it sounds like a lot is happening at that session. So do we want it in December or?
Yeah, we could have, if we're all gonna be here and we'll look nice, and he can do it right at the beginning, and we can
Okay,
send
if everyone
Steve on
wants
his
that, he
way.
can do that.
That would be great,
Or we
thank
could get
you.
here, a few minutes before.
Yeah, we need to color coordinate, probably.
We don't want us to look all
And not too busy, like not too many
Right.
people.
Yeah.
With like
I'll
No,
us
put you
like-
in
all the
charge of that.
flowers.
Right.
and-
Tone it down, ladies.
So we can put that, details
Well,
in
that'll
the
be
agenda.
Neutral, yeah,
come,
kind of,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, neutral.
Neutrals.
Okay.
Okay, that'd be awesome, thank you
Thank
for
you.
that, that's wonderful.
I think the other two on the new business are you.
Yes, so this is something, I don't want to talk about it tonight, we can talk, I'll put it on the agenda for the work session, but kind of as I mentioned earlier, I'm kind of conversated out. We've had a lot of community conversations, the chamber, heading home, other organizations have had community conversations. And so I think it's time to start doing some work. And the work that I see that I think is in our purview, as I mentioned, I think I mentioned it last time, is somehow organizing a coalition of nonprofit organizations that serve women and people on the gender spectrum and get them to the table. We don't need to reinvent the wheel. We don't need to double do services. I mentioned this to someone, I can't remember who, of course, but they said it would be awesome if we could set out a roadmap that would walk alongside a child from the time that they were like entered Macum or something. Oh, you said that? Okay.
Like do a
Yeah.
at this point in their life, what are all the
Yes.
services? Yeah.
And I feel like somebody else that said something similar to that too. So I think that that's something that we need to look at. I think that's something that we could absolutely do. Would it be a big lift? Yes. But are we capable of it? Yes. Is it needed? Absolutely. So just be thinking about that. And then this CAPS commission situation, I'm gonna, if you want me to, Patty, who sent this, was not able to come to the meeting today because I asked her to, for us to answer questions. But the CAPS Commission is the City of Bloomington's Community Advisory on Public Safety, CAPS Commission. And they are dedicated to exploring the topics of human dignity, racial equity, decriminalization of poverty, harm reduction, and restorative justice. So they're planning an event, and they would like us to come on board to sponsor the event. And sponsoring the event could mean sweat equity, since we know we don't have any money to do that. She knows that. But they are also, approaching all of the commissions. So I think that it would be, when I forwarded this email to everybody, since it didn't go through MoCo WoCo, or didn't get dispersed through MoCo WoCo, people seemed excited about it. Even if we don't do it, I'm gonna, go to the documentary Reimagining Safety. 10 experts discuss how policing and incarceration create more harm than good, why the system persists, and what changes can be made to make everyone safe. So Patty said that she could pop into our work session to answer any questions that we had. And or if you did send me some questions, so I could, forward that to her. Do we have any questions, comments right now?
I don't.
Is there room for student involvement? Like if we had, I guess
can't-
for the sweat equity, just kind of getting a handle on like what her needs would be.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
Like
we
if
would
she
have to
needed
ask.
large groups of students to pass out surveys at the end, maybe we can help her
Yeah.
organize some students. But I would love to hear more because
Yeah.
I was really interested.
Yeah.
I am really interested.
I like it.
And when's the date? I'm sorry, I've got another email. but I
February
can't-
23
February,
to
okay.
25, they're having, it's the 24th that they're having the screening of that documentary.
Okay, so end of February.
So there's a little bit of time.
Yeah.
But yeah,
okay.
well, I think it'd be cool if we would be involved with it, and
Mhm.
try to support them in whatever they needed, other than money.
Yeah, and then, I mean, if it was sweat equity, would they be like using our logo? Do we have a logo? I mean, would they be like
Yeah.
recognizing us? That would be great.
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm very interested in it too, and I like that idea too, Kathleen, to involve students, to help in any way possible too.
Yeah, I'll let Patty know. She'll be excited that we're excited. Yeah, and I'll see what's exactly needed.
Anything else on that?
No, thank you.
Public comment?
Or-
Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
I second.
Roll call vote. Maria?
Second.
No, you, aye. Aye. Nikki?
Aye.
Kathleen?
Aye.
Tiana? Aye. Is she still there? Susan? Aye. Motion passes. Meeting is adjourned. I don't even think I have to do that.